Kevin Ross is here. Kevin Ross. Cool.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. We have Kevin Ross here. Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and start taking some questions for Kevin Ross. My name is Sarah Patti with NFL PR, and I will be moderating your press conference today. So we'll take our first question from Mick Schaefer of KSHB TV. Mick, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Kevin, good to see you. I don't think I realized how much you and Todd, your football lives have mirrored each other from a long, long time ago. I was just wondering your first time knowing of him. I know there's a few years difference there. And I asked him earlier if you could cover him out of the backfield back in the day in Kansas City. And he didn't say no. So you must have still had some chops when you guys were playing together with him. Just wonder if you guys could speak about what is a long time relationship.
Well, we go back to South Jersey. Actually, he played for Pennsauken High School. I played for Paulsboro High School. We never crossed paths playing wise. And we both went to Temple. Both got coached by Coach Arians. Both ended up being in Kansas City. When he came to Kansas City, kind of tried to show him the ropes, and he took off from there. He became a real good back and a great special teams player for us.
Okay, next we'll go to Pete Grathoff with the Kansas City Star. Pete, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, you're in the Chiefs Ring of Honor, and just was curious, if this is kind of a surreal experience. Todd kind of mentioned that you're Super Bowl and you're going to be facing your old team.
It's unreal, really. I mean, to watch them last year win it, and I was very happy for them. And now to play against them in the biggest game I've ever been involved with is special. I hate that somebody has to lose, but somebody has to lose.
Next, we'll go to John Ledyard with Pewter Report. John, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, just curious, Coach, about Sean Murphy-Bunting this season. He said he's been open, actually, to his credit with us, that it kind of not all aspects of the season kind of went exactly how he hoped it would go, and wasn't always playing as best as he'd hoped. But he's put some things together and he's really turned a corner. I just want to know how you kind of approach that during the season, of being able to talk with him and coach him through that process rather than benching him or something like that, like other coaches might have done.
He's a student of the game. All three of them are really good students of the game that are young. They're real young, and every day is a learning experience for them. Sean has put together, like I just told him the other day, he intercepted a Hall of Fame player within Breeze. Then he did it with Rodgers. Now he has the opportunity to do it with Mahomes. That's a strong resume. They're playing a lot better than they did in week 12. And that's a tribute to all of them putting in the work and just learning on the go.
Okay, next we will go to Leo Haggerty. Leo, you can go ahead and unmute.
Coach, it looks like going against number 10 in that other colored jersey is really a tough matchup. The way you played it the first time didn't work real well. Is that an advantage now, knowing, okay, we got to go to plan B?
Yeah, I would say so. He showed us what he could do. And now we have to show him what we can do. He's a real good player. He's a special player. And no doubt about that. It's hard to simulate his speed. And now that they know his speed, hopefully we make the right adjustments to it.
So next we will go to Jason Alex Fleming with the Florida Sun. Jason, you can go ahead and unmute.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. In the first quarter against the Chiefs, Week 12, Tyreek Hill had 7 catches, 203 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. And he was proclaiming on the sidelines, help is on the way. You got Vita Vey back, and I believe your corners are thirsty to get back at Mr. Hill. How do you plan on slowing down this Kansas City wide receiving corps?
I can't reveal all that, but there's a plan in place. The plan is better, basically this: play better than we did the last time, and that shouldn't be hard to do. We didn't do very well in the first quarter, first couple quarters, but we got ourselves back together in the second half and gave us a shot to win the ball game. We came up a little short, but you're playing a high-powered offense. It's not just 10. They have a complete team. They have a great coaching staff. We have much respect for them.
Okay, next we will go to Ben Bollin with the Boston Globe. Ben, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. Congrats on making it this far. I wanted to ask you, what's it like for your unit to go up and compete against number 12 in practice and to go against such an experienced quarterback like that?
Well, I mean, it's like I tell these guys all the time. Once you face Brady, you face some of these receivers that we have. You're playing against the best, and I'm sure that Kansas City feels the same way. Their defense probably feels the same way. Our offense is the best. Why should we fear anyone? This, that, and the other. This is what's going to make the game so great. Come Sunday, I think you got two high-powered offenses with some defenses. That both defenses probably underrated, and whoever plays the best defense is going to win the ball game.
Okay, next we will go to Zach Goodall from allbucks.com. Zach, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Coach. Last time against the Chiefs, Carlton Davis had a bit of an uncharacteristic game. I mean, compared to the rest of the season, he's been pretty dominant. So what kind of tweaks do you want to see from him this time around, especially to keep up with the speed of a guy like Tyreek Hill?
Stay on top of him. Don't let him, it's easy to say, but don't let him run by you. Like I said, Tyreek, not only Tyreek, the whole wide receiver crew they all have speed. We respect everything they can do, but at the same time, we respect our abilities and we believe in our abilities. We believe in ourselves. So I'm thinking we'll perform a whole lot better than we did the first time around.
Okay, next we'll go to Todd Lebo from WHB Kansas City. Todd, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Coach, you talked a little bit earlier about Kansas City in your time here. I wonder if you can kind of reflect on how good your teams were and how hard it was to try to break through and make the Super Bowl, and how special it is that you're part of a group now that's done that. This is easier said than done, I suppose, to make it to this point.
Oh, no disrespect to their defense, but if we had Mahomes back then, you probably have 4 rings at least. Their defense was very dominant back then with a nice sound running game, and we just didn't have that firepower at that position they have now. Great atmosphere, great fans. I personally love it back there, and I think that they are, top-notch organization. They really are classy, very classy people.
Okay, next we will go to Ira Kaufman. You can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Kev, you've seen all the great receivers over the years, and you played against a lot of them. Just in terms of technique and pure skill, Tyreek Hill, Kevin, he's more than just a flat line runner. He's really worked on his craft. What kind of challenge does number 10 present?
Oh, it's a full challenge. You playing defensive back, you pretty much playing like a stunt man. One false move out there with him, it's going to cost you. And so you have to be on point at all times. He's got a little bit of everything. He can make you miss. His catch and run is probably the best in the NFL right now. His deep ball speed speaks for itself. A lot of what he does is, some of it is unsaid. I mean, he's got good hands. He's got really good hands. He can actually go over top of you if he has to.
Okay, next we will go to Paul Domowich. Paul, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, hi, Kevin. Going back to 2019 when BA took the Bucs job, were you surprised that he came out of retirement, and how did you find out about it?
No, I wasn't surprised at all. Actually, I was in Phoenix, Arizona at the time, actually working for the Cleveland Browns at that particular time, scouting. Once he got the job, He was like, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in Phoenix." He says, "Pack up. We're going down to Tampa." And you know, he brought everybody that he had before with the previous staff in Arizona, and here we are today.
Okay, next we'll go to Soren Petro. Soren, you can go ahead and unmute.
Rock, great to have you in the Super Bowl. Congrats on that. To see you here, first of all. When Patrick Mahomes scrambles out, it's for fans, it looks like it's just a fire drill for the wide receivers, but obviously there's a plan to what they do, right? When he evades and goes, off script. How good are they as far as what they do once he is scrambling around the pocket, and how coordinated is it when you diagnose what all the receivers are doing at that point?
They're the best at what they do as far as that goes. The only comparison I would have with Mahomes is probably John Elway. John Elway could sprint to his right or sprint to his left and throw the ball back across the field 70 yards on a rope. And Patrick has that ability. You can't go to sleep on it, and you really don't know what it feels like until you actually go against it. You can sit there and simulate it, you can preach it, but until you see it, until you feel it, it's something to see.
Okay, next we will go to Fago Franklin. Fago, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. It is Black History Month now. What does it mean to you that more minorities are getting coaching positions as well as using their influence to inspire others?
Are we getting more coaching positions? I didn't see that. I seen one. I mean, I'm keeping it real. Bieniemy, Bowles, Barton Leftwich, there's a ton of people that are qualified, more than qualified, to get these jobs, coordinator jobs, head coaching jobs. We still got a long way to go as far as that goes. I'm glad it's being acknowledged, being brought up and things like that right there. But I'm an action guy. Until I actually see it, then I'll start believing it. But right now, it's not enough movement for me.
Okay, next we will go to Jeff Fidotin. Jeff, you can go ahead and unmute.
Coach Ross, congrats on making the game here. What did you learn from Marty Schottenheimer during your days with the Chiefs, and maybe what can you apply that to here in the Super Bowl game?
Well, Marty was big on fundamentals. We didn't do a whole lot of schemes. We didn't have a whole lot of things we did. We just did what we did very well. People knew what we were going to do, and they knew how we were going to do it. You just had to beat us. And he was very organized, taught us very well. Mental toughness to get you here. Mental toughness, physical toughness. He preached that a lot. He changed the atmosphere in Kansas City when I was there.
Okay, next we will go to John Romano. John, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Kevin, you've been in a sort of a unique position in having a secondary come together completely through the draft in a very short time. Just curious what that's been like for you to watch these guys grow from college players into a unit that has stopped Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers in consecutive playoff games.
I'm very proud of them. I mean, I feel like a father figure with these guys. They're more than football players to me, and I try to tell them that. I try to explain to them, even after this game is being done, after their careers are over with, I'll always be in contact with these guys. A lot of respect for them. They're coming a long way. They've grown, and they're still growing. They're still getting. They still have a lot to learn about the game, but they're coming along very well.
Okay, next we will go to Andrew Snedden. Andrew, you can go ahead and unmute. Andrew, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I hear you now, yeah.
I apologize. Coach, can you comment on Murphy-Bunting and how far he's come, what his best skill is, and maybe what he needs to work on to get better?
Well, we all need to work on something. He is very instinctive. He's long. They're all long. He has great anticipation on balls. What he has to get better at is the only thing that he has to get better at. Experience is going to take care of that. The more downs he plays, the better he's going to get. The more he sees, the better he's going to get. We're a man-to-man type of team, so we understand now how we're being attacked, where we're being attacked at, and we go from there.
Okay, next we'll go to Anton Boldelson. You can go ahead and unmute.
Is there also a mental aspect of preparing for this game? Also, when you already played these guys before and their receiver groups, especially Tyreek Hill, had a really good field day that day. I'm sure you guys have a lot of trust in yourself and your system, but is there a mental aspect getting these guys ready and making them believe that you can play with these guys?
But they know they can play with these guys. They realize that. They realize also now that they can't do some of the things they did in the last game. I think it was maybe, I don't want to say lackadaisical or disrespectful to their speed, but you know, sometimes, like I said before, you don't know how fast a man is until you actually run with that man. And then you find out some things about yourself and him as well. The approach will be totally different this time around. I think they'll be better prepared. It should be a good ball game for them.
Okay, next we will go to Kaylin Jones. Kaylin, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Coach. I want to ask you about, you mentioned your young secondary. For you, what is the challenge of working with such young players? And I guess when do you feel like the light bulb for them proverbially kind of went off?
Well, actually, before the season even started, what I did is I walked up on the board and I wrote on the board the players that they would be playing against, quarterback-wise, Matt Ryan, Breeze, Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, and all these guys. These guys are all pros. They're Pro Bowlers. They've been in the Super Bowl. And when you're playing against a quarterback like that right there, your game has to raise. Your mental has to raise. Everything about you has to raise. You got to approach this thing totally different. And they've done that, and they're prepared for that, and they're ready for the next test.
Okay, next we will go to Brian Dunleavy with the New York Post. Brian, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Coach, you hear me?
I hear you.
Great. You and Bruce Arians go way back, so I'm wondering what no risk it, no biscuit means to you. And if you can even tell me, was he that way in Temple? There's not a lot of game film from 1983 floating around Twitter. Was that how he coached back then? And what does it mean to you? I know you're on the other side of the ball, but what does that mean to you, the way you guys attack teams?
Arians is so much more nicer right now than he was at Temple. It's not even comparison. I can't even compare him to what he is today. No risk it, no biscuit. Basically means we're not going to play scared football, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And if he feels like it's 4th and 12 and we need to go for it, or if it's 1st and 10 and whatever it is, he's going to do what he feels like it's necessary to score.
Okay, next we will go to Mark Thompson with the Tampa Bay Times. Mark, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Coach, when you're looking across the field, what is the biggest challenge?
Can't hear you.
You got it now? Can you hear me now?
I hear you a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, how about now?
You need to turn up a little bit.
All right. Travis Kelce, what's the biggest challenge he presents?
Can't hear you.
I think he asked what Travis Kelce, the biggest challenge he presents.
Kelce?
Yes.
Did he say Kelce?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelce. Well, Mahomes said that's my guy. He speaks. His talent speaks for itself as well. He moves the sticks. He can score from anywhere. He's a hell of a player. He's a good weapon. Very good weapon.
Okay, next we will go to Ben Spiegel of the New York Times. Ben, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Kevin. It's one thing for a quarterback like Mahomes to be successful at evading pass rushes and extending plays, but it's another for him to really excel in those situations and put pressure on the defense. How difficult is that to defend, and how do you go ahead and get your cornerbacks in the right position to go ahead and limit those successful plays?
Well, when we first played them, I told them they would have to defend. Not the first move wouldn't be the one. It's the second and third move that they're going to give you that's going to get you. Excuse me, only because, like I said, Pat has the ability to back up and throw the ball 50 yards. He can go right and throw the ball 50 yards. He's like a point guard playing quarterback. He sees the whole field. There's no throw he can't make, and there's no throw he won't make. And like he will actually, you think it's not going to come your way, and it will come your way. So you got to be ready at all times.
Okay, next we will go to Eric Hoffman again. Eric, you can go ahead and unmute.
Kevin, I'm going to bring you back 2 months ago, 7-5. The third quarter of the season wasn't very good, Kev. And then came the bye week. Looking back, Kevin, did you give a big speech to this team during the bye week, or what the heck happened? Because, Kevin, you guys have not lost since.
They decided to come together. We didn't do any, it wasn't a whole lot of rah-rah involved with it. It was just a matter of, everybody just saying, you know what, let's just do our job, focus on you as a player, not focus on a scheme or anything. Let's just focus on what you can do better, coaches, players, and that's all that's happened. And then you got Tom Brady, so that makes it a lot easier.
Okay, next we'll go to John Ledyard. John, you can go ahead and unmute.
Coach, I'm curious about the cornerbacks this season. Really didn't play a ton of press man coverage until the last couple of weeks. It's been way more press man. Was that something you guys talked about in season, evaluating? Like, there's these big, long, athletic corners that seemed like they were kind of built for press man. There wasn't a ton of it, and then you guys have switched to it. It seems like it's given teams a lot of issues the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's a couple of ways you can play football. You can play football laid back and let the receivers go where they want to go, or you can put your hands on them and try to take the timing off of some routes, and we choose the latter for the most part, and we go from there. The Kansas City Chiefs are just really too good you have to mix and match things. They figure out things very fast. They have great players in every position, and you're gonna have to mix and match a little bit. It'll be a nice little chess match going on Sunday between the players and the coaches.
Okay, next we'll go to Soren Petro. Soren, you can go ahead and unmute.
Coach Ross, the Chiefs do a good job of getting the receivers involved in the running game 2 or 3 times a game. They're going to be some kind of reverse, but they show that action all the time, right? Like it's always there, as whether it's a distraction, whatever, to get you off. How are they a lot more difficult to prepare for because of that? How much does that put pressure on your unit back there?
Well, that's like I said, they don't have one-dimensional players. They have players that can do a lot of things. We run reverses, throw the ball, go deep, go under. They do a lot of things. They're very versatile. Helps their program out a lot, puts a lot of pressure on your defense to be ready for everything.
Okay, next we will go to Paul Domowitz. Paul, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, Kevin, Todd Bowles interviewed with a couple of different teams, including the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Given his experience, including having been a head coach, were you surprised at all that he did not get one of the jobs?
Of course I am. No doubt about it. He's ready. He's ready. You have to have the right situation to come about for to be a head coach, and have the players around you, have the organization backing you, and things like that. Right there, Todd will get another opportunity, I'm sure.
Okay, next we will go to Adam Kilgore with the Washington Post. Adam, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hello. Your group's I assume is going to be matched up a little bit against Kelsey at some points on the game on Sunday. And from studying him on film, what makes him unique apart from his physical ability? And can you tell at all as you study him that he used to play quarterback, just the way he kind of reads the game and sees coverages?
Well, playing quarterback helps him read coverages very well. Kelsey is in the body like Gonzalez. I'll put him in Gonzalez and Gates era. He's crafty. He's sneaky. He does a lot of. You got a lot of tricks. You got a lot of tricks he uses, and he uses them very well.
Okay, Kevin, we'll take a few more questions. So next we will go to Jenna Lane with ESPN. Jenna, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hey, Coach, how are ya?
Good.
That's good. You know, you had a chance to see up close what that transition was like for Joe Montana in Kansas City when he left the 49ers. And we talked to you about it a little bit over the summer when Tom came in. And now that you guys have had a full season and everything, what can you say about the job that Tom has done coming in here? And what are some of the similarities and maybe even some of the differences that you've seen, compared to your own experience with Joe?
Well, no disrespect for the guys I played with, but Joe didn't have these guys here. These guys that Tom is throwing to are all pros as well. They're Pro Bowlers. Tom, the biggest difference is we haven't been giving the ball away. He had a couple giveaways the last game, but for the most part, for the entire year, we've had plus takeaways throughout the season, and that helps. And the fact that he's been in bowls, Super Bowls and things like that right there, that's helping big time as well.
Okay, next we will go to Cameron Buford. Cameron, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hello, Coach. I'd like to know how your coaching strategy changes when you have a quarterback like Tom Brady as part of your team. How has that changed, or you modified your coaching all through the season?
Well, with a guy like him, you're going to score points, and then once you score points, you become one-dimensional. And then once you become one-dimensional, you just need to understand what the team's trying to do passing-wise. And that's where Brady helps us a lot because if we get up on top of you, we get a good lead on you, you become one-dimensional, and that's what every team is looking for.
Okay, next we will go to Zach Goodall. You can go ahead and unmute Zach.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to follow up on the speed that you said that Kansas City brings beyond just Tyreek Hill. You've got a lengthy career coaching defensive backs, and the game has obviously changed. There's been so much speed with the spread offense more in recent years. How have you adapted to teams, going and finding a couple of almost track stars, really putting them into their offense, and how have you really dealt with that at the cornerback position?
Well, like I said, you really can't simulate some of the things that these guys can do, how fast they are and things like that. And like until you face it, until you go through it, and then what you can do and what you can't do. So those guys have adapted pretty well to it now, and they understand now how fast these guys are and what they have to do.
Okay, and with that answer, we'll end Kevin Ross's press conference for today. Thank you all for joining, and Kevin, you're free to go.
Thank you. Next man. There you go.